Hi everyone, my name is Karen, this is my channel RatherBeReading, and today I'm bringing to you a reading vlog. Hi guys, it is currently 5:03 p.m. on Friday the 25th of January. Welcome to a new reading vlog in which the temperature has dropped. Yahoo! Unfortunately, it is now hotter in my house than it is outside because obviously when it's really hot and you close up all the doors and just have the air conditioning going, and then I left for work this morning and obviously the house was all closed up without the air conditioning going. My house is so stuffy. Hopefully tomorrow there'll be enough of a breeze or something maybe that I can open up like the doors and windows and get a bit of fresh air going through and get the place cooled down a bit more. Anyway, side note, so it is Friday. It is a holiday weekend, which is so exciting. So weekend plans, I don't have a whole lot. So tonight, I mentioned I think at the end of the last vlog, we are out to dinner tonight with my family. On yesterday, actually, I don't think I mentioned in the clip, which is very rude of me. It was actually, and actually I didn't mention at the start of that vlog, that was my friend Emma's birthday. Anyway, it was yesterday my niece and my brother-in-law's birthday. And so we're going out to dinner tonight, and that's tonight's plans. Well, once I get home, I will be watching tennis. That's a big feature of the weekend. It's the final weekend of the Australian Open, so all of the finals and stuff are going on this weekend, so I'll be watching all of that. We actually have an Australian in the men's doubles final, an Australian in the, an Australian in the women's doubles finals, which I actually just turned the TV on just then as I was speaking, and it's on right now, and they are a set up and a breakup, it looks like, or about to break. I don't know. Very exciting. Looks like the person within the Australian team is going to win. Excited about that. And then there is an all-Australian duo in the mixed doubles, which is really exciting as well. So I'm excited about all of that. Plus, obviously, there'll be the men's final and the women's final, and I love just tennis, so I'm excited about it all. So that will be happening. Apart from, like, I've got coffee and stuff tomorrow. That's really my only solid plan. Hopefully there'll be a lot of relaxing, a lot of reading. I need to film this weekend, but I actually only have one video that I really need to film this weekend, because the rest of the videos going up is tomorrow. This vlog, sorry, the last vlog will be going up. Then I've got my top movies video going up. That's one I need to film this weekend. And then this vlog will be going up. That's the last video for the month. And then the rest of the videos will be in February with my like wrap up for January and all of those things. So I can't film those yet because the month hasn't ended. So that is kind of where that's at. So I'm looking forward to a restful, relaxing weekend. Hopefully get some stuff done around the house, but still have plenty of time to relax. It's going to be good. So onto a reading update. So in the last clip of the last vlog, I mentioned that I'd finished Merciless 4. So that was done. So today I started a new book. I started Southern Perfection by, let me check actually. It's Casey something. I think it's Peel? Casey? It's Casey something. Casey Peeler. This is a NetGalley read. It's a Kindle backlist book, but it's one of those Kindle ones that I requested a really, really long time ago. I never ended up getting to, and now it's come up on my Kindle backlist books. I also think it's one of those books that was re-released like on NetGalley, so I think it was technically published in like 2015. It's a YA romance set in the South, hence the title Southern Perfection, and it's basically about, it's about a girl and a boy falling in love in the South. It's about the girl, when she was little, both her parents and her grandmother were killed in what I take to be a car accident, and she has grown up with her grandfather. So it's kind of just her and her grandfather. They live on a farm. She's very much the perfect Southern girl. She helps out on the farm, is involved in all of that. She's a straight-A student. She's the head cheerleader. She's untouchable by all of the guys types of things. And this guy moves to town who she knows. He like lived there when he was a kid but moved away when his parents divorced, and he's moving back to live with his mum. And of course, his mum has now married her cousin's dad. So he's living with her, like, stepbrother to her cousin. So it's about their romance. I'm 41% of the way through, and I don't like it. It is not good. So the writing, in my opinion, is not very good. And I'm picking up on things that I feel like I would never normally pick up. Like I've said before, I'm not really a writing snob. I don't need the writing to be amazing, but I'm picking up on things even like in the dialogue when two people are having a conversation. Like the people will use each other's names way too much. Like at the start of it, it'll be like, you know, so the main characters' names are Reagan and Emmett, and so it'll be like, even midway through the conversation, she'll start to be like, Emmett, do you want like, blah, blah. I'm like, you're already talking, like, why are you saying, and when it's just the two of them, like it'll just be the two of them alone in his truck, and it's very weird. And for the fact for me to pick up on that, like, it's just, I don't think the writing's very good. It's very over the top. It's super cheesy. Excuse me. It's super cheesy, and it's just like so over the top. Every time the guy, Emmett, meets anyone new, and like it'll be in a situation where like he'll be with her and then she'll like walk away quickly for something, and every person feels the need to comment on how, oh, you've got it bad, that type of thing, like everyone, and then also proceed to tell him how amazing she is because it's like a small town, everyone loves her granddad, oh, she's such a, and I'm like, not everyone is gonna like do this. And then it's also really annoying in that, you know, it's like one of those stories where every time she like walks away or whatever, he has like his, so we get both of their perspectives like back and forth, and we get his thing of just like, oh, I could watch her walk away all the time, or look at her great legs, and I just want to be kissing her all the time, and blah 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 blah. There's even a part where when they become like official like boyfriend girlfriend, he does it by saying like, will you be mine? And I recognize that I'm a hypocrite in this because Taylor Swift's song Mine, I friggin' love that shit, but when he said it, I vomited a little bit in my mouth. Rue didn't like it. I've actually been making a lot of notes in my phone on this book. Let me just check if there's anything else I would like to mention. Oh, he also keeps insinuating that like he thinks that there's something going on, like a couple of times, not keeps, but it's like happened like once or twice where he's like, I know there's something like more than what she's telling me, like with her cousin Cole, and I'm like, it's her cousin. I don't know why this is happening, so I don't know where that's going. Also, I even thought it was weird. So at the very start of the book, like in the prologue, it's about her attending the funeral of her parents and her grandmother, and she's saying all she wants to do is, I want to play with my cousin Cole, I want to play with my cousin Cole, and then like eventually her cousin Cole comes and he's like, let's go play, you're allowed to play, you don't have to be a good girl, we can go play, whatever. And then once they get to the part where they're older, she's in high school, I don't know if she's in her final year, whatever, but I would say at the most she's probably about 17. Her cousin Cole is 25 in the present day part, so I'm like, so he's like 8 years older than you, which means when you were 6 at the start of the book, he was 14, which like, why did he want to, like, 14-year-olds don't want to play with 6-year-olds. It's like he wouldn't even call it playing. I'm not saying he didn't want to like feel bad for you because your parents had died and didn't want to like help you out, but like, he wouldn't be like, let's go play. I just thought it was really weird. Like the way he was written at the start, I thought he was around her age or like a year or two older than her, not like 8 years older than her. I thought that was weird. Also, there's a part where someone gets into an accident. They just keep saying, oh, he's had an accident. I was like, I assume we're supposed to be in a car accident because it's never explained what happens. And then we also don't know his injuries. They just keep saying, oh, he'll be all right. I'm like, what happened to him? What happened? Why aren't you telling us what happened to him? It's very annoying that you're not giving us the details. Also, she's got a very close relationship with her granddad. I'm totally fine with it. They grew up together, just the two of them. But every conversation that they have between the two of them is very over the top. Like, it's every conversation is this great emotional, I love you so much, granddad, and these great, you know. And she tells him everything, like, to the point of it being a bit weird. That I was like, I know, like, you're close, but I don't know. I guess that's just me putting judgments on people, but I don't know, it feels weird. And then there's also a whole thing going on where that her granddad is sick, and for some reason she's keeping it a secret, and I don't really get why. She's like, even to the point where like now that she's with this guy, doesn't want to tell him that her granddad's sick, can't have people know that her granddad's sick. And I'm like, why? Like, I understand that you don't want people to feel sorry for you because you've already had people feeling sorry for you in the town because everyone knows that your parents and your grandmother died and all of that, but I'm like, I feel like you would at least tell the people closest to you, like your best friend and, you know, your boyfriend. Like, I don't really get it. So there's a lot in there that I'm not enjoying. It's not like it's so awful that I would even probably DNF it because it's very easy to get through. I read 41% of it just today on my commute, my lunch break and things. So it's definitely readable, but and I will finish it because it's a NetGalley book, but I just don't think it's very good. So there's that. And I can enjoy a cheesy romance. I just think that it's not a well done cheesy romance. So yeah, I think that's it. I'm going to go now because we're in the last service game of this game with the Australian in the doubles, and I want to see if she wins, and then I've probably got to start getting ready to go to dinner tonight. So I will see you guys at some point during the day tomorrow. Who knows where I'll be. I do need to go to the library tomorrow, so maybe probably from the car in the library car park. But that is it for this clip. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye guys. Hi guys, it is 12:07 p.m. on Saturday the 26th of January, which is Australia Day. And it's a holiday weekend, like I mentioned. I'm super excited about that. I was going to film a car clip for you guys today. I actually went to the library, but I didn't think, so right next to my public library that I go to is a big like park area, and I hadn't thought to myself that being Australia Day, there would be a lot of Australia Day festivities going on today. And so the car park that like, it's technically for the library, but you can park there to kind of go to the park, was jam-packed. I had to do about 10 laps, I reckon, at least before I got a spot. And then when I got a spot, there were so many other cars doing laps and things that I didn't want to sit in my car and film while people were waiting for spots. And then same thing when I came out, and then I was going to film the clip in my carpool because I was like, it's still a car clip. But when I pulled up, my neighbors were doing something on my front, in my front yard, and I could see them kind of waiting for me. So I got out of the car and they just wanted to tell me that they'd borrowed my driveway to reverse a trailer. And I was like, no worries. So again, I didn't want to sit in the car while I could see them. And obviously they would be like, well, what is that girl doing? I don't need the neighbors to think I'm a weirdo. So we're getting the clip inside instead. So I've had an eventful day kind of so far. So last night I went to dinner, like I said. I came home. I didn't actually read when I came home, and then I went to bed kind of early because I was planning to get up early this morning, which we'll get to in a second. However, so I said I didn't read last night, but then I did not sleep well at all. I woke up at about 4:30 in the morning, and I got up for a little bit, and when I tried to go back to bed, I tried to read to make myself kind of go back to sleep. So I read a bit then. I then got up early this morning to go around to my dad's place, my parents' place, but to watch the FA Cup. Arsenal were playing in the FA Cup, which we lost, which sucked. So I went around there to watch that. That was on at 6:25 this morning, and then we basically went straight from there. Well, I quickly popped home to feed the cat her breakfast, and then we went for coffee and such, and then I came home, changed the kitty litter, did a bit of tidying up, went to the library, and now I'm home. So most of my weekend, like, must-be-done tasks are now complete. I don't have any other plans for the rest of the weekend, like things that I need to leave the house for, except I'm going out. We're going out for fish and chips near the beach on Monday night. So I'm going to that with my parents and my nan. But tonight, the rest of the afternoon tonight, all of tomorrow, and all during the day on Monday, I've got nothing on. So hopefully a lot of reading. I'm going to be watching. Tonight is the women's final in the Australian Open and the mixed doubles final, so I'll be watching both of those tonight, and then tomorrow night, or maybe tomorrow afternoon, I need to check the timing. I know tomorrow at some point the men's doubles final and the men's final is on, so I'll be watching all of that. But in amongst that, we'll be doing lots of reading, lots of booktube watching, hopefully. Be watching some movies. I haven't watched many movies over the last couple of weeks because most of my spare time has been taken up with tennis, which is fine. It's only a couple of weeks a year, and I do love me some tennis. So that is kind of what's been going on. That's life update. On to the reading update. So like I said, I read last night when I woke up, and I also read a few chapters this morning at halftime of the FA Cup game. So I have read a little bit since I spoke to you guys. Still just reading Southern Perfection by Casey Peeler. I am now 60% of the way through. So almost 2/3. Still really not enjoying it. I've been making so many notes. I'll just quickly go through the notes that I've made with my annoyed thoughts on it since the ones that I spoke to you about yesterday. I don't think there's too many. Oh, yeah, so again, just the like huge over-the-top cheesy factor to the story. Like everything I mentioned yesterday, and then now like her granddad has met the guy that she's like dating or whatever, like the love interest, has met him, I think, twice. and only really like spoken to him properly like once, has seen them together like a hand, very small amount of times, but he's just like, saying to her how he can tell that he's like the one for her. And I'm like, they're like 17, just, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that people don't meet, some people don't meet the loves of their life when they're 17, but I just don't feel like the granddad would be like, I can just tell, like, that you two like are made for each other. I'm just like, this is really weird. So I'm just trying to read my notes as I speak to you guys. Oh, there's also just inconsistencies in the story. Like, after she gets home from this big date with, like, one of the first dates that she goes on with this guy, she calls her best friend. She's like, I can't wait to tell, like, Jordan that we're, like, boyfriend, girlfriend now. And then, so they have this phone conversation, and then the next day at school, the friend is like, tell me everything that happened. And I was like, you just had this phone conversation. And the phone conversation didn't go into in detail, but I was like, as if you had this phone conversation with your best friend after the date and you didn't already tell her what happened. I just wasn't buying it. It seemed inconsistent to me. I'm also very unclear on this whole relationship with the cousin. He's referred to as her cousin. It is still, like, hinted at by people, like, that everyone seems to think that the male cousin is in love with her, which is, I said, wrong on a couple of levels. One, he's 25 and she's 17, so, like, problematic. Two, he's her cousin. And, like, even her best friend was like, oh, I've always thought Cole was into you. And I'm just like, what? Like, why is everyone saying this and just, like, acting as if it's a totally normal thing that he would be into her? I'm like, we haven't got any confirmation or anything that he is into her, but it's just very weird. I don't really know why this aspect of it's in. I'm also not sure how he's her cousin, because he refers to the granddad as Uncle Dover, like uncle. So I'm like, if it's his uncle, but it's your cousin and Uncle Dover is your granddad, I just don't get how the family relationship works, because the family only seems to be related to Cole. Cole lives with his dad and the stepmom, who's the love interest mom as well. And I'm just like, so you would assume that the dad is probably related to Cole in some way. Or maybe it was the mother who left Cole, but that's not mentioned either. Or I presume they're related to the parents of hers that passed away in some way. It's just never mentioned. I'm very unclear about this familial relationship. Yeah, so even like the granddad, that was the last note that I have in there, is that the granddad even felt the need to assure the love interest that there was nothing going on with the cousin. Why is this a thing? It's very uncomfortable. I don't know why it's in there. It's really weird. It's just unnecessary to the story too. If you're just trying to write a cheesy romance, and it's just unnecessary. And then also, I didn't write this down, but this is something else that's annoying me. I mentioned as well, like with this whole secret that the granddad's sick. The granddad has now like told her like that she should tell the love interest, and like given her permission. He's like, I know I said I didn't want like the whole town and everything to know, but like it's different. Like, which I as the reader was like, exactly. He's like, it's different for you to tell like your boyfriend. She's still like, no, and she won't tell the boyfriend or the best friend. And it's very annoying and I don't understand it. So that's where we're at. Hopefully I'll finish that today, because I don't want to draw this book out for too long, but obviously because I'm not really enjoying it. So I would like to finish that today so that I can move on to something else. The only other thing that I'm planning to do today is my vlog from before this is going up tonight, so I'm going to finish. I've edited about half of that. I did that during the week, but I'm going to edit the other half of that so that can go up tonight. And then I mentioned yesterday, I think as well, that I've only got one video to film this weekend, which I'll probably film tomorrow. There'll probably be a nap in my future today as well, because I'm pretty tired because I didn't sleep well last night, and then I got up at 6 a.m. to go around to my parents' place. So yeah, that is it, I think, for this clip. I feel like this is going to be a longer vlog, because I feel like I've had 2 ranty clips. It's always a longer vlog when I've got books that I've got really in-depth. Not in-depth, but like I've got a lot to say, and I've had a lot to say about this book so far, and I haven't even finished it yet. So I'm sure yesterday's clip was really long, and I'm sure this one is as well. So I'm going to go, but I will talk to you guys. If I finish the book today, I may check in with you guys then, or I'll talk to you guys at some point tomorrow, but I'll definitely see you guys soon. Bye, guys. Hi guys, it is 5:46 p.m. on Sunday, the 27th of January. So, I have had a really lazy day. I also want to apologize if you can hear the fan. I realized in editing the last video that I hadn't thought about it, and you can kind of hear it in the background. I apologize, but it's summer in Australia and I'm not turning the fan off. So I've had a really, really lazy day today. I spent most of the day, like in the morning, just laying in bed with Winnie. We were having some really quality snuggles and just really lazing around, like kind of just, you know, checking stuff out on my phone, all of that kind of thing. I then, this afternoon, watched the final of the men's doubles. I watched that this afternoon. I then have just, since that's finished, taken a shower, washed my hair, gotten all fresh and ready for the men's singles finals tonight at 7 p.m. So I'll be watching that tonight. That's my tonight plan. And then, as I mentioned, tomorrow I don't have anything going on tomorrow, except I'm going to dinner tomorrow, fish and chips near the beach, with my parents and my nan. But I've got all of tomorrow free, so I'll be probably watching some movies. I still haven't watched any movies. So that's what's going on. On to a reading update. So last night I finished Southern Perfection by Casey Peeler. I actually already posted my review of this. I actually posted my review today on Goodreads. So my Goodreads is always linked down below if you guys are interested in checking it out. I really didn't enjoy the book. I'm sure you guys could tell from the previous clips in all my rants and stuff that I had about it. Sorry, I was just reaching for my phone. I gave it 2 stars. I really didn't enjoy anything about it, but I generally save my 1-star reviews for books that are offensive in some way. Like, for the most part, that's what I save them for, or that are just completely pointless, all of that type of thing. Whereas this book, I recognize that there are a lot of people out there who are going to like the book. It has a lot of 4 and 5-star ratings of people who really enjoy this type of YA romance. And, you know, everyone's got their own opinions and their own interests and their own likes, and that's totally fine. I don't have anything against anyone who likes this book. I didn't like it. Everything that I mentioned stands. I'm just pulling up. I actually think I already deleted my notes. Yeah, I did. Winifred! She just got fed. Now she's coming in here to claw my couch. Yeah, just everything that I've mentioned before. I thought the writing was bad. The dialogue was terrible. It was really hard to tell at a lot of points in the story who was even talking. Overuse of names in the dialogue. The story was just so over the top in every aspect. Like with everything that I've mentioned, you know, every character in the town that they come across feeling the need to tell him what a great girl she is, and telling him that telling her that they can tell that he's, like, so into her, and everyone, like, telling them all the time that they can tell that they have this faded, like, meant to be romance. I'm like, they're 17. And, like, I'm not saying people don't meet their, significant other that they may be with for the rest of their life when they're 17. Some people do, and that's totally fine, but not every single person is going to. In fact, I think it's more the opposite, that most people will believe that it's not going to work. Not that everyone's going to be like, I can tell that you guys are meant for each other, and all the weird stuff with the cousin, just everyone, like, saying that he was into her, and I'm like, 1, he's her cousin, 2, he's 25 and she's 17, but, like, no one had an issue with either of those 2 things. It was really strange. I didn't really like anything about it, and like I said, I gave it 2 stars, so definitely not a fave of mine. I finished that last night. I today have picked up Shadow Study by Maria V. Schneider. This is I've explained this so many times, it gets so confusing. There are kind of 3 separate trilogies that all go together. There is the original study series, there is then a spin-off trilogy, and then there is this further 3 books, which are kind of in the study series, but I think themselves are called the Soul Finders trilogy. So this is the first one of the last trilogy, basically. And so I picked this up. I haven't read very much. I've only read a couple of chapters. I'm on page 33. I'm on chapter 3. I haven't read very much. I'll be reading I'll do a little bit of reading now, probably before there's an hour before the tennis starts. I read off and on during the tennis, like in breaks, but I don't generally get a lot read during the tennis. And the last time Nadal and Djokovic, which is who's in the final, played each other, it was an almost 6-hour match. So if it's anything like that, I don't know how much I'll get read. It could end up being a late night. But this is what I'm currently reading. And then hopefully I'll get some more reading done tomorrow, watch a couple of movies, do a bit of reading tomorrow before I go to dinner with my parents. So that's really it. Those are my plans and what I've been reading. So yeah, I think that's it. I'm going to go now. settle in, get a bit of reading done, like I said, before the tennis, and I will talk to you guys at some point tomorrow. Bye, guys. Hi, guys. It is, time is it? 5:34 p.m. on Tuesday, the 29th of January. Now, I didn't film a clip yesterday, and I only just realized that I didn't film a clip yesterday right now when I sat down to film. I had every intention of doing it, and I just didn't do it. I just completely forgot, and like I said, I literally didn't realize until today. So, I apologize. I didn't have a lot to report, though. So, yesterday was a very chill day, didn't do a lot at all during the day. I then went for fish and chips, like I mentioned, that I was going to be doing with my parents and my nan. We went quite early, so I was home quite early. I then watched a movie, and then I got caught up in television. I rarely watch TV, and I was literally just watching, I watched 2 Law & Order SVU reruns because I love Law & Order SVU, and it was like old reruns when like Stabler was still on it. I freaking love Stabler. So I watched 2 of those. Then there was an episode of 48 Hours on. 48 Hours is my favorite true crime show, so I was like, yes, loving it. And I wasn't too worried about going to bed a little bit later because I had slept later, like than I normally would. So I was like, oh, it'll be fine to go to bed a bit later. However, once that finished, I don't know why, but I changed the channel for some reason, and then happened to come across that there were 2 more episodes of SVU on another channel, like 2 different reruns of old SVU. So I watched those as well. So I didn't end up going to sleep until almost 2 in the morning, which is frankly ridiculous. Definitely later than I had planned to go to sleep. And then in true Karen fashion, yesterday I had turned my alarm off. My alarm's like a Monday to Friday alarm. I turned it off because it was the public holiday and I didn't want to be woken up super early. Forgot to turn it back on and overslept today and was really late to work. So I had to work through my lunch break today. So that is that. So I went to work today, like I said, worked through my lunch. I did read on my commute to and from work. I did very little reading over the weekend. I spoke to you guys on Sunday. I'd done very little reading then. Didn't do a whole lot after that. Didn't read very much. I did read a little bit, like here and there, but didn't read much. Please also ignore the terrible breakout I'm having on my chin. So, yeah, didn't do a whole lot of reading. So I am still reading Shadow Study by Maria V. Schneider. I am on so I was on about page 100 last night. That's what I mean. I think that's been, oh, my neighbor's having some kind of crisis, it sounds like. I was on page just over 100, so I read like 100 pages over 2 days, but I'm currently on page 168, so I read almost 70 pages today so far. I do have boxing tonight, so not sure how much of this I'm gonna get read tonight, but we'll see. I published a video. So one of the things I did do yesterday was film the one video that I needed to film this weekend, and I edited that and I uploaded it last night. For some reason, the auto captions feature wasn't working at all, so I couldn't caption the video, which is really annoying because I had the time to do it yesterday and I just couldn't do it. So I'm hoping that that's working so that maybe when I get home from boxing, I can go back and caption that video. And hopefully that won't take too long. It's only like a 13-minute video, so it's not super long. So it might take me like half an hour, so like maybe a bit over half an hour. So if I have time, hopefully I'll be able to do that, and then we'll be able to spend the rest of the time. I still need to like shower and eat dinner and stuff as well though, so hopefully, bare minimum, I'm hoping to make it to page 200 in this, because like I said, this is now the 3rd day that I'm reading this, and I'm not even, like 200 wouldn't even take me to halfway. So want to make some decent progress on this. I might probably work through my lunch break tomorrow as well because I still owe some time, or at least half, take only a half lunch break tomorrow. But yeah, we'll see. So, oh, that's that. I also started an audiobook today. I almost forgot to tell you guys. I started an audiobook today. I didn't get anywhere near as far through it as I would have liked to, so I'm listening to, oh God, my phone's not working. Typical of when I'm filming. I'm listening to Shift by Hugh Howey. This is the 2nd book in the, is it actually called the Silo series? It is, the Silo series. So it's book 2. There are 3. This is book 2. However, it's a prequel. This goes back before Wool by Hugh Howey. So if you weren't around when I read that, Wool is a adult science fiction dystopian about a future where the air, like, on Earth is, like, not breathable, And so humanity now lives in this gigantic underground silo. It's like 160 levels or more than that even, I can't remember. Like, it's a huge silo, and that is where humanity lives. And there are a lot of rules and all of that type of thing, obviously, to keep humanity going, blah, blah, blah. It's about that kind of world. This goes back before that book, and we get two different timelines in this book. We've got the timeline of, I think it's 49, I think it is. So it's in the future from like current day, but it's when the world is still pretty much the same as like what it is now, and it's about them planning kind of the silo, but and kind of how we got to be in the silo. And then we also have the timeline of the, I think it's 21 something, the early days of the silo, and how you get to kind of see, because it's very early days of the silo, how things have changed in the, like, from where we ended up in book 1 to what it was like earlier on in this point. The point that I just got to on the bus on the way home. So I'm 24% of the way through, so really didn't get very much. It is a really long book. I think the actual book is almost 600 pages, so it's quite a lengthy audiobook. So I'm hoping to get it done in 3 days, but obviously I didn't make it a third of the way through today, so we'll see whether that ends up happening or not. But I did start that. So the point where I stopped it off today, to where I stopped it on the bus, like I got to a chapter break, and so I paused it there, was, I was like, and I actually think, so these books were originally published in like as serial novels, and I think this was originally published in 3 parts, and I wouldn't be surprised if that part that I finished today is where part 1 ended, because it was very much like a what moment. So not like super plot twisty or anything, but just I was just like, oh, okay. So I'm enjoying it. It is slow. It's definitely a very slow book in comparison even to the first one, but it's interesting. So it's slow, but like I'm intrigued. Like I say, I've read the first book and I really enjoyed the first book. I gave the first book 4 stars. So I'm intrigued in this book to find out how we got to where we were at in the first book. So yeah, I am enjoying that as well. So hopefully I'll be able to listen to a chunk more of that. Like I said, I was technically at work for not as long today. The cat is going absolutely mental. For not as long today because I was in really late. I also spent a chunk of the day having a conversation with my brother's girlfriend, so wasn't listening to it then. So hopefully I can get through more of this tomorrow. That is the goal. But I will talk to you guys when I get home from work tomorrow. Bye, guys. Hi guys, it is 6:12 p.m. on Wednesday the 30th of January. I got home from work a while ago and I've since been to physio, and I've just got home from physio. So that is my only plan for tonight, was physio. So I'm now home for the rest of the evening, which is great. Hopefully can get a bit of reading done tonight. Although the other thing I want to do tonight, so last night I did manage to completely caption my previous video, which was great. The thing I want to focus on tonight is completely editing all the clips so far of the previous vlog, of this vlog, so that after I film tomorrow night's clip and then I get home from boxing, I can add that clip in and get it uploaded tomorrow night. That is the plan. So that's all that's really been going on. So on to a reading update. So starting off with my physical book, I'm still reading Shadow Study by Maria V. Schneider. I'd mentioned yesterday that my mini goal for yesterday was to make it to page 200 for last night, and I'm actually made it to page 249, so I was really happy with that. And then today I've managed to read just purely on my commute. I worked through lunch again today to make up a bit of time at work. I read, oh God, I read even more than I thought I did. I read 100 pages. I'm not quite sure how I managed that, but I did. I read 100 pages on the bus to and from work, so I'm now on page 350. So I've got less than 80 pages left to go in this, so I'm definitely going to be finishing this tonight, which I'm excited about. So I'll have my thoughts on this to give you guys tomorrow, before this vlog ends, which is great. I then also continued on with the audiobook today for Shift by Hugh Howey. So I'm currently, I again didn't make as much progress as I wanted to, but I am now, where is my I'm 56% of the way through, so I've passed the halfway mark, but that means I've still got 44% of it left, and I would ideally like to finish the entire book tomorrow. One, so I've got a free day at the end of the week to listen to podcasts on Friday, but also because tomorrow's the last day of the month, so I would like to get it finished so I could include it in all of my January stats, but I mean, it's not the end of the world if I don't finish it, so we'll see. I actually upped the speed on it today, not because I wasn't getting through it quick enough, that was just a nice bonus, but because this audiobook just seemed a little bit slower than some other audiobooks. So I normally listen on 1.5 speed. I've upped it to 1.75, not hugely. I may actually up it to 2 times speed tomorrow, depending on, I'm going to like reassess tomorrow if I feel like it's still a bit slow. So I don't really have too much, so should I tell you my thoughts? I'll give you my final thoughts on this tomorrow, but I am really enjoying this. It took me a while to get back into, not to get back into the world, but I think I was a little bit burnt out on this after finishing the final book in the Glass trilogy, because I really, really didn't like the way that ended, or that a part of that ended, and I was real kind of salty on it. And so it took me a while to, I think, like, get past that. It was made easy by the fact that we're following different characters in this one. So, like, we're back to following kind of characters from the first trilogy. So, I am really enjoying this. We get a particular character's, like, backstory, which I'm really enjoying. We also get another character's, like, a side character. We get their POV now in this one, which I really like. I'm also quite enjoying the plot of this one, interested to see where it goes, looking forward to the last 80 pages of that. And then to my thoughts on Shift, pretty similar to what I said yesterday. I am enjoying it. It is definitely a slow book. I feel like a lot of people wouldn't enjoy this book. The other book, I can't remember if it was, I feel like it was a slow book. I don't exactly recall whether Wool was super slow. This one is not, like, I'm enjoying it because I'm really enjoying. The thing with dystopians is, we normally get dystopians like where we were at with Wool. The whole bad thing that's happened to the world has already happened, and we're in this dystopic world. That's what a dystopian is. And I love that because we very rarely get what we get with this book, is that we're going back and we're finding out how we ended up in this dystopic world. And I really, really enjoy that. I enjoy getting to see, how we ended up where we are. And I also like that we also have kind of the part of the story where it's set, that I mentioned is in, like, early days of the silo, or like whatever it is. I don't even really know how far into it is. I really like that in that we kind of get some, like, questions of, have we done the right thing? Is this the right choice for, like, survival? I mean, you can't really make another choice now, but there's some questioning of that. I can't really go into too much details on that without spoiling a lot of what happened in the first book. But yeah, I am enjoying it, but it is definitely a very slow-moving book. But yeah, it's kind of one of those books that we get different threads of, like, different stories that all kind of start to weave together and stuff, and I do really enjoy that, like, kind of method of storytelling. So I am enjoying it. So hopefully I can get through, if not finish it tomorrow, get through a really decent chunk of that tomorrow. So that's kind of it. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all I have to report. I will talk to you guys tomorrow when I get home from work for the final day of this vlog. And wish me luck with getting a lot read tonight and getting this whole vlog edited. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys. Hi, guys. It is 5:40 p.m. on Thursday, the 31st of January. So, I just got home from work. I worked through my lunch break again today, so I only read on my commute. I did do a bit of reading last night, so we'll get into my reading updates shortly. I've got boxing tonight, so not sure how much I'll get read tonight. I also need to upload this vlog tonight. So I've completely edited it last night, except for this clip and the intro outro, which I just filmed. So I'm gonna, when I get home from boxing, I've got to add those 2 clips in, export it. Exporting it's the bit that's gonna take the time, and then upload it. But I don't need to caption it, so I'm confident that I can get it up tonight. That is the plan. So that's that. That's plans, updates, reading update. So I've got quite a bit to talk to you guys about. So last night I finished Shadow Study by Maria V. Schneider. I really enjoyed this. I think it took me, I can't remember what I've kind of said about this. I think I mentioned yesterday that I was really salty on the way that the Glass trilogy ended, and so it took me a little while to accept going back into this world. However, I did eventually get back into it and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed being back with the main character from the first trilogy. And in this book, we have her, I don't know, it's really hard to talk about because I feel like it's kind of a spoiler for the first book of the whole thing, so I can't really talk about that. She gets in a situation in this book that made it so that she was a very similar character to how she started in the first book, which I really, really liked. And like I mentioned yesterday, we also get another character that I really enjoyed. We got their whole backstory. We got a side character that I really love. We got POV from them. So there's a lot in here to really enjoy. I do think it's predictable. There's something that happens at the end that I was like, yeah, you set that up like right near the start, and it was very obvious that we were going to head there at some point. But I found that with most of her books, I find them fairly predictable. And I will also say, I don't think Maria V. Schneider writes villains very well, in that they're not memorable. So in this book, the main, like, culprit or whatever that we're trying to, constantly there's people coming up who are coming up from previous books. I'm not going to tell you who they are or anything. I'm not going to spoil anything. But as they come up, it's like, dun, dun, dun. It's remember this person from the first, like, set of books. And I'm like, yeah, no, I don't. Because the villains in those books are completely not memorable. I literally don't remember them. So every time it was like, and there was one particular character who we kept knowing that it was someone that we knew from previous books, but it wasn't revealed till like right at the end. And then when it was revealed, I was like, I don't even remember who that is. So that was a little bit lackluster, but that's partly on me and my memory. Although I have a pretty good memory generally, but I just feel like the villains aren't super memorable in these books. But I did really enjoy this. I think I'm giving this a 3.75 stars. Pretty enjoyable, if a little predictable. I am excited to see the way that this book ended. While predictable, I'm very excited to see where that heads, like where we head with that in the next two books. So I am excited to be back reading this trilogy. So I finished that last night. Where should we move next? Okay, let's talk about the audiobook. I didn't finish it, which sucks. So that means it's going to go over into February, which isn't a big deal. But I was hoping to finish it today. So I'm 88% of the way through. I've got, how long do I have left? 2 hours and 9 minutes still left to go in it. I do listen on 1.75 speed. I feel like I thought I was going to get it done today, but then this afternoon I just had some stuff come up at work that I couldn't listen to it for. I had to talk over a matter with my boss, which took a while, and then we had to talk about this whole freaking procedure thing. There was a lot of times this afternoon where I couldn't really listen, so I didn't end up getting it done. So 88% of the way through. Still, basically everything that I've said is still stands. It's slow, but everything that we get and the way it ties into the first books, I just think is so cleverly done. And I am just the commentary on, not the commentary on, but the way that people act in this book and getting to see how all of that has affected like the future generations and how it all ties together is all very interesting, and I am really enjoying seeing all of that. So we'll definitely get that finished tomorrow, but that'll be in a different vlog, so you'll have to check out the next vlog. So, you know, subscribe. And then you can see the next vlog, and then you can hear about that. So that's the audiobook. I did also last night, so after I finished Shadow Study, so I finished that like while I was still kind of out in the lounge room. Then when I came to bed and I wanted to read a little bit before I went to sleep like I usually do, so I picked up Hello Mallory by Anne M. Martin. This is book 14 in the Babysitters Club series. I read the first like 4 or 5 chapters of this last night. I then finished this on my commute home. So this is the book where, so Mallory has been present in other books, but this is the first book where we have her becoming a member of the Babysitters Club. However, this is, while it's not Mallory's technical introduction, it is Jessie's introduction, which I liked. I also found interesting that, so as you can see on the front cover, Mallory, she got red hair, and I remember her as having red hair. However, in this book, this first book, where she is introduced, I don't think I'm going to be able to find it, but she, when she's talking about herself, it'll be right near the start. Let's see if I can find it. She says that she's got brown hair. I can't find it. She says she's got brown hair. And I was like, brown? Girl, your hair's red. When did she go from being a brunette to a redhead? Clearly this cover was picked out, like it was not the original maybe cover that was on. I don't know. Or is this supposed to be brown, because that clearly, she looks like a redhead to me. Anyway, thought that was interesting. So I enjoyed this. All of the Babysitters Club books are enjoyable, but nothing special really in this one. It is really just about Mallory trying to like becoming a member of the Babysitters Club. Nothing overly exciting, but still enjoyable. Gave that 3 stars. So I finished that on the way home, but I finished that early on the commute on the way home. So I was like, I'm going to pick up my next book, which I'd taken as a backup just in case I finished that book. And good thing I did. So I've moved on now to Lion's Share by Rachel Vincent. So these 2 books, this one and Hello Mallory, I had to bump up I hate these type of covers because not only is it ugly, but also my camera is trying to focus on this girl's face instead of on my face. So these are 2 library books. I've had to bump them up my library order. I've been really on top of my library due dates. I'm really proud of myself. But then you come across a book that won't renew. And for some reason, neither of these 2 books would renew. Apparently, they've both got holds on them, which is super annoying. So I had to bump them up, which is annoying. I was going to read a library book, like I was due to read a library book, but I've got other ones that I've had for longer that would normally get read first, but you get what I'm saying. But it's just annoying when I feel like I'm on top of things and I'm finally like, yes, I'm not getting slammed by library due dates, and then bam, a book you can't renew, and now you're under pressure again. It's so annoying. Anyway, so I picked up this. This is Lion's Share by Rachel Vincent. This is the first book in the Wildcats series, which is a spin-off series to the Shifters series. And from what I understand, it is a companion series. And it better be, because my library doesn't have the only books. It's only got this one. So I potentially will only be reading this book because I don't want to pay money for the others, if I'm being honest. So I'm hoping that we get a complete story. So, from what I could tell, that is what's supposed to be. The reason I did enjoy the Shifters novels, but I wouldn't necessarily have loved it enough to move on to the spin-off, except I was really interested in the characters that this one follows. So that's why I've moved on to this. So the Shifters novels, if you don't know, it's just basically, this whole world is an urban fantasy world where they are werecats, so they shift into like panther-like creatures. I don't know, panther? They're big black jungle cats is basically what they can shift into. And so I was excited. Not excited, but like I wanted to read this because I'm excited about these characters. So I'm on page 36. I only read a couple of chapters of this after I finished Hello Mallory while I was on the bus. So I've just started this, but this will be what I'm focusing on tonight. But you won't get any more thoughts on this unless you check out the next vlog. God, I'm really plugging myself today. So yeah, this I will be reading tonight when I get home from boxing once I've finished editing this vlog and I'm not eating dinner or having a shower and all the other friggin' life things that I have to do. So that is it. That's everything that I've read. I've now literally got to go because I have to leave in like 5 minutes for boxing and I still need to get ready, like get changed. So that is it. I will talk to you guys. Well, no, because this is the last clip of this vlog because it's the last day of the month. So I will see you guys in the outro. Bye, guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed this final reading vlog for January. The first month of the year is officially over. I would love to chat with you guys in the comments down below how your reading month went this month. I'm pretty happy, I think. I haven't done my wrap up of my stats or anything yet, but I'm pretty happy with how my reading month went. So I would love to chat with you guys down below how yours went. Please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe if you want to see more from my channel. That is all I have for this video today. Bye, guys.